There may have been teachers who were watching the buildup before the fight started, and they did nothing.
The schools don't want to take sides because there is no right and wrong. There's only the victimhood.
He's making it political, and it's not political.
Let's go.
You're watching a young woman's classmate 14 times. The school allegedly knew the assailant made threats, even had the knife, but did nothing. Now the victim's mother, Ashley Wilson, is suing the school.
Hold on, was that one person? And a little girl?
What looked like one person.
Middle schooler survived, but required plastic surgery for the stab wounds
Oh
from
my
face,
God.
neck, or so other parts of her body. She had 18 stitches in her back alone.
Did he say middle schooler?
Yeah.
Did he say middle school?
Yeah.
Holy crap, man.
Yeah.
The administration knew about threats and the weapon and did nothing.
I think they should not be
I
sued.
remember a time where you couldn't go like this or you're kicked out of school.
I have to speak to the other side of this. The other side of this is when I was in middle school, in the hallways, a couple of times there have been shootouts inside of my school. And I went to school in Southeast DC. In the school I went there from kindergarten. And when I got to the 6th grade, got out of the 6th grade, we moved upstairs. It was 2 more levels. There was no windows. That bad boy it is still built like a prison. It's friendship
That's how schools are built
educational
now,
center.
period.
Man,
Sorry?
I was saying that's how schools are built now, period.
Isn't that
Like
sad?
prisons?
that's insane.
Yeah, more now than I
to-
guess they would. But I mean, I don't know. You grew up in a much more metro area than I did, but I know the high school that they had newly built whenever I was graduating in '97 was built more like a prison, and it was like one entrance, one exit, unless there was a fire or something like that. We didn't have security guards standing around or anything, but we didn't even have school badges back then or nothing.
No.
But
We
it
had
was
some-
built more like a prison to where they could monitor everything going on coming in and out of the school.
We had fights. We had some fights at our school, but never anything like that. I grew up in
No,
a
never
town.
anything like that.
I had 47 people in my graduating class. Like,
Wow.
there's a town of about 2,500 people. Like,
Yeah.
if there was someone from my hometown, we met.
I-
Yeah, we didn't have anything like that where I grew up.
Yeah.
And I'm on the hook. Let's roll.
Is this an urban part of Georgia?
Does it say the town?
I don't remember what they said.
Hold on a second.
They said.
It says
I don't know. I've never been.
a Georgia middle school down here. Georgia middle school student was stabbed 14 times, blah, 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 in gym class. The girl's mother says the school administration did nothing to stop the attacker, even though they knew she had a knife and had made threats
Oh,
to
this
the
was
other
a
students.
female
I
attacked.
find that
What's that? Chocolate?
Hold up, Chris.
No.
I'm sorry. Did I hear Susie? What'd you say, Susie?
That was a female attacking another female.
Yeah.
This is my part of addressing the situation. If the school administration knew about it, and they knew about it because the girl who got stabbed had said, I went to the principal when I was in the 7th grade, and I told him there's a group of girls that are threatening to beat my butt. And I'm
You
going to let you
snitched.
know, I went to the principal and told him, I'm going to let you know that my father taught me that if I am attacked, I have the right to defend myself.
Yes. Yes. Your dad was,
Well,
that's,
very much
you
so,
got a
yes.
good father.
So, and I told him, I told the principal, I said, so if they attack me, I will walk away as long as I can, but there's going to come a time when I'm going to have enough. And when they hit me or they touch me, I'm going to give them everything I've got.
All right, so this-
But I agree with
a
that.
gang of girls attacked me and I fought back. I, go
All
to
right.
the
I agree with
This
that.
is
principal's office,
southeast of Atlanta.
and
Is
he
it-
tells me
Oh, okay.
that I'm going to
That
be
is-
suspended because of the fight. I said, no, sir, you cannot suspend me. And he says, why not? And I said, because I came here 2 weeks ago and told you this was going to happen,
Well-
and you did nothing to protect me. So
I
this,
don't know about you, Van. I'm sorry to interrupt, Susie. I'm sorry.
this mother has an excellent case in court.
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely.
But I don't know about you, Van, but if you got into a fight, whenever would get into a fight in school, pretty much everybody was immediately suspended no matter what, and it might have been cool down or whatever else. But I could also see how in this situation, it's saying that this girl is going up and telling the principal that there's a problem. And to me, that in school, I could see that as a red flag law, kind of like if I called in and said, hey, I met this guy, not the same as I met this guy, Chris, online, but because that'd be a big difference in meeting online and being in school. But hey, he was threatening me with a knife. I'm joking about that. Nobody on here has ever threatened me with anything. So just so you know.
So you saying
But,
that Chris threatened you?
Oh yeah, Chris threatened me all the time. He said he's gonna cook for me. So
He keeps trying to tell everybody I'm his daddy. Yeah, let's not go
Let's
there.
go. Yeah, let's not
So
go there.
I pulled up an article. This is at Ola Middle School in McDonough, Georgia, in Henry County. This is actually one of the suburban areas outside of the bypass.
Get out of here.
But I say suburban, it's still the Atlanta metro area.
Yeah.
It's not Atlanta, but it's outside the perimeter. This is
Okay.
at Ola Middle School in McDonough, and that's a fairly nice area. And I lived lived up in that area for 4.5 years. Ola High School is one of the high schools I recruited at when I was in the Navy, and floored. So this was back in March when this happened. For clarification. Yeah, so this is definitely, it's a big school. That's a huge school system.
Yeah.
Henry County's got like probably 4 high schools, I think now, at least.
Yikes.
Just in the
We've
McDonough
got at
area.
least that many in my suburban area in Clay County from Jacksonville, so I would imagine at least 4 high schools.
Yeah.
And Henry's pretty big.
Yeah.
Good
We had
gracious.
schools in the town I lived in. 3.
Ola Middle School in Henry County, Georgia, are accused of negligence for ignoring the threats. Of course, this brings up a much bigger issue about bullies being allowed in school. Jay Edelson is here, founder and CEO, Edelson PC. Jay, it's good to see you. Look, we keep seeing schools kind of allow this because they don't want to take sides. They don't want to punish bullies. Is what's going to happen to schools, what's been happening to police departments in terms of getting sued, going to happen?
So it's actually the same issue. So what we're going to see in this case is the school district is going to hide behind what's called qualified immunity. And there's actually a Supreme Court case that's going to be heard in January, which is going to define both the right for victims like this, but also people who were mistreated by the police. So we'll see how that plays out. This is one of the worst situations that I've seen, though. As you mentioned, it looks pretty clear from the complaint that the school district knew about this. They were told repeatedly that a girl had a knife and was targeting this group of kids, and they did nothing about it. And I just spoke with the lawyer earlier today, Adam Princenthal, and according to him, it's got a strong case, and it looks like there may have been teachers who were watching the buildup before the fight started, and they did nothing.
How much of this has to do with the political correctness, right? If one student's of a different race or one student has special needs and the schools don't want to take sides because there is no right and wrong, there's only the victimhood Olympics and everybody's pronoun must be protected. But if you're a pretty white girl and you're about to be stabbed, well, then we're not going to do it.
It's crazy. I mean, we're living in the matrix right now.
I don't like that question.
I don't either. That's the middle
he was
schooler
doing.
you're talking about, and that's awful.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah, he saw an opportunity and he took it, Charlie.
That's opportunistic language at its worst, and I cannot stand that garbage. He talks about the victimhood Olympics. He's playing his own little funny games with language and directing it at a middle school girl. Give me a break.
He's making it political, and it's not political.
That's attempted murder, whether you look, no matter how you look at it.
Now, negligence by the school, absolutely. That's absolutely negligence by the school. If they were told repeatedly by a safety resource officer the kid had the gun or had the knife and refused to investigate
anything
further,
about it.
and
I agree and disagree with that on today's law. So the way today's law works is because the school, I mean, look at how the FBI's been. I mean, I know school's a little bit more down to earth, but how many of these problems in school shootings, for example, have been turned in to the FBI and them just not do anything? Now, the school, I could kind of see the same thing because I don't agree with it. I'm not saying I agree with it whatsoever. I'm just saying that I could see why the school might not pay attention to it as much. And plus, if you notice, they talked about a group that she was targeting versus the girl that got targeted. So she was actually targeting a group of people versus one person, is what that video just said.
So it was more people. It was more people that she tried to stab in that bunch.
I don't know.
So
The video just said a group of people.
And I understand what you said too. Like sometimes if you're under a certain protected class, we don't want to shake the boat. So we might not do something that we would if it was another
We don't
way.
have any proof of it. We don't have any proof of it.
But here's
So-
the thing: they've been talking about it for how long did they say that they knew about it? Weeks.
For a while.
They knew about it for a while now.
They also didn't say if the girl with the knife was black, white,
It
family.
doesn't matter.
Didn't say.
Why would
So,
it matter?
And
because
It
it
shouldn't
back to
matter.
his-
in that article, it also specifically talked about that they had been told multiple times by the safety resource officer that the student was believed to have a knife, and they didn't do anything about it. And in the article, it put out there that it was also, that's contrary to their own school policies. So they didn't follow their own policies.
That's
Right.
nothing new.
Well, and worked out fabulously in this case. So this is
Oh,
terrible
definitely, yeah.
all the way around. Ugh.
I mean, it's
And
it's
that's
sick.
that journalist
It is.
choice of questioning and language makes me ill.
Yeah,
Me
this
too.
part right,
He
this part
does.
right here is actually. Let me tell you something. Sometimes when I point out things like that, and I'm glad you did, because sometimes when I point out things like that on the channel, it don't really fare well. People don't like, because some people don't mind the setup. Now it might be some truth to it, but that was a setup. That was, let's take this conversation this way. Like it's no longer about the girl anymore. It's no longer about her well-being. Okay, I'm done talking about the girl's health or the
Right.
other girl's mental health, because we don't know what was going on. That little girl could be out of her damn mind. I don't know, especially if she's stabbing kids in the face at
Right.
school. She got to be
1000%
off her
right.
daggone
1000%
rockers a little
yes.
bit.
It's one thing if we're talking about, say, a politician speaking out against one group or another, and then having a reporter call them on it and talk about their linguistic gymnastics. But the problem I have is this isn't somebody that's getting rich off of a position of power that they ran for and all that. This isn't someone that's willingly putting themselves in the public eye. This is a child that can't even
Yes.
thrive yet. Think about that. A middle school child, not even a teenager, or possibly just become a teenager.
Just
Yeah.
become.
Just become a
This is
teenager.
not
Yeah.
a public official. That is way out of bounds.
She's starting to play games with boys at this time, not trying to play games and get stabbed. You know,
And
I mean,
it really does boil down to the fact that we send our children to school, and it is the responsibility of the school to keep them safe while they're there.
Absolutely.
And
I
if
agree with that. I agree with that. And I
Yeah.
can honestly bet that none of us on this podcast or even in the comments, Red's mom, Heather, any of us would ever have thought going and stabbing somebody 15 times in school when we were in school. Oh, I see Van making that face. Well, I've thought about it before, but I've never carried through with it because I
thought
felt
about
like
it.
I was bullied in school.
I've thought about it, man. I've thought about it a lot. I thought about shooting somebody at school. I
Well,
thought about all that.
Okay, carrying through with it would be another thing because I felt like I was bullied in school whenever I
Yeah.
was a kid. I couldn't imagine how it is now with stuff like social media and stuff. Over there, freaking Charlie's got balloons flying up and stuff.
Chris,
I gotta
I'm
get rid
sorry,
of that
Chris.
picture.
This is one time. Usually, I hear Chris's mouth a lot when we doing these talks, but I didn't hear you a whole lot this time, brother.
About this stuff, I don't care how you look at it. I don't care how old they are. That's attempted murder, no matter how you look at it.
Okay.
Big
Well,
facts.
She didn't stab her up just to scar her face and stuff. She was trying to really hurt her, stabbing her in the neck and everything. She's lucky if she'd have hit an
And
artery, that
face.
girl would be
You
dead.
think she should get 30 years?
No, I think she needs help. Serious, booting ass kind of help.
there definitely needs to be something that happens. I'm not going to say that she needs to go to prison necessarily, but
I'm
she
gonna say
definitely needs some kind of mental help and find out where her mindset is at. Because if they just let her go, she'll do it again and again and again.
I'm going to say without any doubt that the two children that contacted either end of that knife, their lives are trashed because of this.
Change.
Where they
Absolutely.
Very much so. Very much so.
Absolutely trashed.
Yeah, that kind of stuff doesn't just
Awful.
go away, man.
Here's something though. And I just want to introduce this to the conversation. And I don't know if this happened in the white community, but I do know that this happened in urban communities because I know like 3 young ladies that it happened to. All right, so when you're light skinned, y'all know light skinned, dark skinned. When you're light skinned black, sometimes back in the day, the dark skinned girls would hate on the light skinned ones a little bit.
Yeah.
And one of my good friends, Aisha, in high school, they trapped her inside of the bathroom because she was very beautiful. She was light skinned and she was popular. And they took a knife and they cut down her face to mess up her skin and make her no longer think she was. And she still had that scar. She's married to a pastor, a bishop of a church, living like a rock star. She's a super millionaire right now, just living off the church money. Nah, that's a lie. I'm just playing. If you hear this,
Right.
you're just
You're
playing.
going to get in trouble for that, man.
But she's
Yeah.
she's a phenomenal
No,
young
it kind
lady.
of goes along with the narrative about churches and everything.
But also though, I'm just saying, I know 2 other women that this happened to, and they're both light skinned and they both got stabbed in the face. One of them is my cousins. So what if this was one of those type of cases? What if that was the reason why that young lady was bullying her? Maybe she was jealous of her. Maybe she was just trying to, I don't know what it was. I'm not trying to diminish her action because that's not what I'm trying to do. Not at all. I'm
we
actually
don't
just trying to
know.
understand it. I want to understand this action right here because
Me too.
I mean, rather than none of us can judge her at this point.
No.
None of us know the proper actions that should be taken at this point, but we can try to figure out what caused her to move in that direction and what will prevent other people from thinking that way. Go ahead, Susie.
Well, following that very line of thought. Now, y'all have to remember, I'm a lot older than all of you, so my days in school were a lot longer ago.
You're not about to back in my day.
So
In my day,
Uphill,
when I
both
went to
ways,
school,
no storm,
school,
barefoot.
things were a lot different. I mean,
They
you could carry a pocket knife to school
yeah.
and not be afraid that you were going to go to jail for it.
We had kids with gun racks in the back
Yeah,
of their truck during
Exactly.
hunting
Sounds good.
season with
Absolutely.
shotguns and
Yeah.
rifles.
With
We
guns
did too.
Parking
It
lot.
was
So,
like,
but going along the lines of, we don't know both sides of the story.
Yeah.
So we don't know
Yeah,
if the
yeah.
got stabbed. Is she an upper class?
I'll argue both sides of the story.
Why in the hell would that matter?
Just let me go there, would
It
you?
does matter. It does matter on both sides of the
And let's
story.
say that the girl with the knife comes from the poor side of town, and maybe the upper class girl just kept, flaunting herself.
No, they said a group, so it wasn't just one person.
No,
That
I agree
video
with
that man just showed said a group. So
Yeah,
maybe
that
that
was
was
Maybe
cheerleader.
it was.
Maybe like
Maybe
you're
it was
talking about.
unless
Um,
that was the one person in the group she could get to that this group had been picking on over and
Yeah,
over and
I
over
mean, that
mercilessly.
might have been a group of
We don't know.
cheerleaders. They
And
mentioned
Could have driven
specifically
away.
that it was a
it was a group.
good-looking white girl. So maybe she was a cheerleader or something and just pushed this girl too far.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm
So
saying.
in a
Like Van
suburb,
was saying about how he had thought about doing that stuff whenever he was in high school. So did I.
Middle school
Well,
Middle
and
school.
elementary.
Middle school,
Yeah,
even too. You know,
but we didn't
I
because
know,
we
but
we
middle
we
school,
were taught to do
do it
this.
over
here's the
We were
short of
we
it.
were taught to put
It
those
doesn't.
fists up and protect yourself, and that was taken away from our kids and our children because you can't teach a kid to protect themselves anymore.
No.
Right.
Like you
Yeah,
can't
that's
teach
another
your
thing.
kid to put their fist or their hands on another person. And I'm not saying that it would have changed the situation, or it could have been different. It could have been like, well, meet me outside at 3:00, and we'll handle this right
That's
now.
how you supposed to do it.
Off school ground.
Off school grounds and one-on-one. And
Right.
if somebody was recording it, it wasn't like this. That was their job.
Right.
If you were recording it, you were recording. Don't you get involved, you record this.
We didn't have any real good method to record anything like
Yeah, you
that.
had to
we were
record
told
like
that.
this when I was going to school.
Yeah, you'd had to have a camcorder or something carried
And
around.
then
I'm
whatever you had to do.
One of
My
them
man,
big
my
ones
man
you
had
hold
a
over your
court
shoulder with a
artist drawing.
VHS.
Slow down, slow down, slow